We are the ones who were brought into slavery and bondage and treated evil for over 400 years. There's historical proof to prove that. Look it up. There's a plaque in St. Augustine, Florida. St. Augustine, Florida, that says in the year 1555, the first slaves arrived here and were sold here in the year 1555. Now, take that and add 400 years, 400 plus years onto it, and you'll understand the 400 plus years spoken of in Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, where he told Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed will be strangers in a land that is not theirs and will be afflicted, and we will serve them for 400 years. That is talking about us here in America. And then we went over to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, to prove that we be brought into Egypt again, brought into this bondage and slavery to serve our enemies by way of slave ships, by way of ships as spoken of in Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. We also went over into Exodus chapter 13, verse 3 to prove that the word Egypt means house of bondage or bondage and comes from the Greek word Egyptos, which means bondage, slavery. And then we went over into Psalms chapter 83, verses 1 through 5 to show and reveal what happened to us, why we don't remember our name Israel, why we don't remember our name the Hebrew Israelites, why we don't remember our God, our culture, our nationality. And it showed you because we've been cut off from our great name Israel and given false slave names, bywords, proverbs, called all kind of byverbs and proverbs like African American, colored, Negro. All of these are not our true identity. But we see there in Psalms chapter 83, just to show it to you one more time, right here. See, we have enemies, for lo, our enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. They get up and sit in these crafty councils and boards around these tables, come up with their think tanks in order to change us from who we actually are and cause us to forget our great name, Israel. And we have. That's why you have names like Mr. Green, Mr. Underwood, Mr. Brown, Mr. Black, Mr. Johnson, Culpepper. These are all slave names, names of our oppressors and enemies who gave us names after themselves when we were bought and sold into bondage and slavery unto them. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. See? Come, let us cut them off from being a nation. That's why you're no longer a nation anymore, Israel. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So when we steal your identity, we cause you to no longer be a nation again. We cause you to forget your name, Israel. We give you other names. And then we steal your identity. The real stolen identity is the stolen identity of the true Hebrew Israelites, who are called African Americans today. That is the true stolen identity. Our identity was stolen and taken over by false white Jews, or false Jews, period, who have taken our identity onto themselves since they caused the true Israel to forget their name is Israel and not to remember our name is Israel. Therefore, another people can come in claiming our nationality and our true identity, and you would never know. What a mind job has been done on us, Israel. But we are waking up now, and the enemy is in turmoil and terror because he knows that he has a short time left and that true Israel the true Hebrews, the so-called blacks of America, are indeed waking up to their true identity. Just want to share that little lesson with you. Praise Yahweh. Until the next time, Yahweh loves you, and so do I. Shalom, shalom.